just some technical issues we're trying to sort out. All right. Welcome, everybody. On the technical everything, it's myself, Sincere, and I'm going to be welcoming you to today's session and introducing you to the speakers of our information session. So all of you joining, you're very much welcome. We are going to go live on YouTube as well. And if you have people that are trying to connect and trying to join this, please keep sharing the link with them. And if those who are having troubles with it, after the call, you can always look at the same video on YouTube. Given that you all registered for the session, you're going to receive an email at the end of the session that has a link to the recording. So you're going to have this later. Without much ado, I'm going to be introducing our moderator for today. Our moderator is Emanuela Vemnue. She's a journalist from the heart of Cameroon's nation, which is the Cameroon Radio and Television, Balatsu in particular. And she did her public management at Syracuse University in the United States as the 2024 Mandela Washington Fellow from Cameroon. Madam Moderator, are you online?
5 and 5, Doc, the biggest moderator. Hello, everyone. Glad to have you on this session. We are happy to have you here. We would be sharing tips that we think could help facilitate your application process. We have so many speakers that will be sharing their rich experiences and what they went through, their different fellowship experiences with you, so as to help you know what to do, what not to do, how to stand out in order to equally benefit from this very prestigious fellowship that is life-changing. Like Cynthia said, my name is Emanuela Vemnue. I'm a journalist. I work with the Cameroon Radio Television. I'm a 2024 fellow, and I was placed at Syracuse University in New York, during which I had an amazing time learning from many people out there. So this session, we shall be starting with our first speaker of the day. She shall be giving us tips on how to write essays that are outstanding, because the fellowship is very competitive, like you all know. Last year, we were 2,200 applicants, from which 18 were selected. So you measure the competitive nature of it. And for you to stand out in what in your application, you need to put in your A game, bring on board your A game. So we shall be meeting our first speaker, Lemi Clarice Penga. She is a magistrate by training. She is into the advocacy for women, for gender issues, women, gender equality, and has over 6 years of training in this domain. She was placed at the Arizona State University under the track Public Management. Lemi will be talking to us about the tips that you need to take into consideration when writing an essay for those of you who are under or envisaging the track Leadership in Public Management. Lemi, the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's session. Can everyone hear me? Gemini, am I loud enough?
You are 5 on 5.
Okay. And can you see me?
You're not stable, but we can see you.
Okay. So, welcome everyone to today's session. Everyone always asks himself, which track should I apply for? And if I had to attempt an answer to that, I would say you should go in for the track that gives you the evidence of your effectiveness. Let me say that again. Go in for the track that gives you the evidence of your effectiveness. It's common that many of us do a lot of things in Cameroon. We try to join two and two together to just for earned meat, just to eat. So you can find yourself doing a business, you're into civil society, you're maybe a civil servant, you see. So you should go in for the track that you desire to grow most in it, and the track that you know that is going to position you for growth. That said, I am a magistrate, Penga Clarice, awaiting integration, and I own a registered NGO founded in 2017, Better Women Initiative. So, next slide, please. So, there's always a general confusion when you talk about public management track. Public management track. People may easily think that it's a track reserved for civil servants. It is not only for civil servants. If you're doing any activity that whose service is open to the public, you can apply. Let me take that again. Services open to the public, and then the governmental structure itself. So it means if you're a civil servant per se, you can apply. Or if you're doing something else that is open to the service, you can apply. I'm going to break this down. Okay, what you do you implement government policies? Because at the end of the day, we are not reinventing any wheel. In one way or the other, we accompany government to achieve its governmental policies. We accompany government to achieve its developmental ambitions. You understand me? So if you have that broad mindset like that, it's easier for you to feel comfortable going in for the public management track. Your services that you offer, advocacy, or however you can call it. Do you advise government? We are being told we should hold government accountable. Yes, yeah. Do you hold government accountable, and in what way? You advocate for public governance and administration. Means you can apply. When you look up the synonym of public service, you have things like social work, humanitarian. It's so long. So it's all embracing. If you're doing climate change, if you're into climate change, for example, government has well-structured policies on the environment. So what you're doing is not in abstracto. It's not ex nihilo. It falls within that governmental context. So it's for you to know how to position yourself and go in for it. In my university, Arizona State University, we had people who just left the faculty. We had people who were into the civil society. I think we had like one of the youngest, a mama from Togo. She was 24, but she applied when she was 23. She was doing environmental management and initially got so frustrated when she was selected because she applied for civic leadership. And again, permit me to say that the Mandela Washington Fellowship, they reserve the right to put you into any track that they deem fit. They must not give you your first track of preference. Mama applied for civic engagement, leadership in civic engagement, but found herself in public management in Arizona. And she was so frustrated at first. Within 1 week, she was like, no, I definitely know that I own my place here. I'm in the right place, actually. Do you have management? Are you into management? What do you manage? You see, so those are the small things that I wanted to clear from the onset before we proceed. Next slide, please. Continuing into why you should apply, why you should choose the public management track. When last time Dr. Cynthia's tips that he has been sharing, he said you should run a quick search of the skills that a public manager is supposed to have, or someone offering public service or public service administration is supposed to have. I did that, and this is what I could have very quickly. When you talk of public management or public service, you have skills that are required of you are leadership, problem solving, collaboration, creativity, decision making, policy analysis. Policy analysis. Let me reiterate, you don't only analyze policy being in the government. All advocacy work aligns itself with a specific policy. You see, policy analysis, interpersonal skills, resilience, teamwork, diplomacy, honesty, emotional intelligence, empathy, good communication skills, adaptability, communication. I'm not saying you're going to be writing all this. No, don't get me wrong. I'm just broadening your scope. Why, indeed, public management track is good for you. Now, ask yourself this question. Are you doing any activity that requires you to have these skills in your day-to-day activities that you do? And these soft skills, do they interplay? If the answer is yes, then you can apply for public management. The next one now is the principles of public service. We have selflessness, integrity, objectivity, accountability, openness, honesty, and leadership. Do these principles govern your day-to-day activity in that sector? Broadly, if the answer is yes, then you can apply for the MWF under the public management track. It depends on you. It depends on you to identify 3 or 4 of these strong skills, how it's manifest in your day-to-day life, how it's manifest in the work that you do, and then craft something around it. Like, this is what I do. This is what I do. This is how I do it. This is how I do it to help me achieve my goals, and then solve the problem that I identified in the first place. You can just drop your questions in the chat. We'll look at that later. Next slide, please. Very brief and straight to the point. Now, having said that, I think we would now review the 5 questions. We will now review the 5 essay questions from a public management perspective. Real quick, it's going to be a marathon.
Yes, it should. We have 10 minutes
marathon.
With 5.
Okay, in 5 minutes, I'm going to do that. What motivates you to work in the field that you do? First of all, what do you do? What is your motivation? What specific goals do you hope to achieve within that field? Provide an overview of your major professional accomplishments from the past year, including specific examples of how these accomplishments have brought you closer to realizing these goals. First of all, the thing you say you do, what motivates you to do it? And then there is something I must say here. You writing your story yourself gives you a plus. In what way? You have lived that situation. You know your motivation. No one best tells your story apart from yourself. You tell it from your perspective, from your lens. This is what I saw. This is what I observed. This is what motivates me to do that which I do. Straight on. What specific goals do you hope to achieve in that sector? What goals do you hope to achieve in that sector? Those of us working under the government structure, we know our government's functionality. We know our government's mission. Now, bring it down to yourself. as an individual? What role do you play in that context? How do you help that structure move forward towards achieving its functions or its mission? Is it clear? Like, how differently do you do things? Then you need to talk about your major professional accomplishments, including specific examples. Who says specific examples, says numbers, quantify them, give names. If you carried out that activity in Balikumbat, I should be able to say that I went to Gwanyet quarters in Balikumbat and this is what I did. Situate your reader. You can do all of that so briefly. And specific examples of these accomplishments, including how these specific examples of how these accomplishments have brought you closer to realizing these goals. What motivates you? What do you do? What goals do you hope to achieve? What examples have you done? Now, in doing that which you say you do and how you do it, how has it brought you closer to achieving those goals? Straight on. Next question. Next question. Based on your understanding of your preferred institute track of study, what are the specific skills and knowledge you hope to gain from the fellowship that you would not be able to develop through opportunities, through other opportunities? In either ways, why should MWF select you? Why should you be selected? If you're going in for civic engagement, if you're going in for public management, why should you be selected? What are you bringing in? How differently do you do things? What managerial skills do you think that if you bring it to the MWF, they are going to harness it? They are going to polish these managerial skills of yours, these interpersonal skills of yours, these leadership skills of yours. How? In essence, don't come to the MWF empty-handed. Bring something for the MWF to build on. You see? Okay. And how would these skills and that knowledge enhance your activities in the community? Your skills and knowledge that you're bringing in your preferred track, how would the MWF help you multiply it for you to be more efficient, for you to be more effective within your service back home? That's, in essence, the way you should situate your thoughts and your writings. Straight on. Remember, there is a word count. So you will not want to go narrating any story from 19 Abraham. Okay. Now, Nelson Mandela said, it is in your hands to make a better world for you to live in. What are the greatest needs in your community and how has your public and community service addressed these needs? Like I said, you alone know your motivation. In your motivation, what is the greatest need of your community? And then how has what you've been doing addressed those needs? Just no matter how small, it can be 10 people, but you do it so well. You do it so well in addressing a problem that you have identified. And then they say, please include details explaining how you are to show. You are not just telling them, you are showing. There is a difference. You are showing
you should be rounding up.
how your specific actions contribute to improve your community. The last question. Oh, it's not even the last. Okay, we talk about diversity, diverse identities, ideas. He who works in the public sector, you know that this is, you can easily get this question from your left hand because we are to work with people from different religious backgrounds, different mindsets, different ideologies, different shapes and sizes, whether they are differently challenged or not. How do you work with them? Do you listen to others? Do you take inputs to others? Do others identify in what you do? Do they have a sense of belonging in what you do? And at the end of the day, with all this cocktail, what's the result? You say, describe a challenge or mistake, setback you faced in detailed and specific action, how you addressed it. Let's keep this and go to the next because everyone can do it. I don't have time. Oh, that's the last. Let's go back up. Let's go back.
30
When they
seconds.
say describe, yeah, 30 seconds. I'm going to adopt Dr. Cynthia's approach here that talks of the CAR approach in answering this number 3 question. What's the context? The challenge, the difficulties, the setback that you experienced, what context was it? What action did you take? What results did you get at the end of the day? At the end of the day, and what lessons have you gotten? What did you learn? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Miss Benga, that was my time.
Thank you very much, Lemi, Miss Crazy. Thank you so much. I think those on the live session have gathered what they can gather from your elaborate presentation. We would have Q&A at the end of the session. That means you have the chance to ask questions to be clarified. So if any speaker is presenting and you think there is something you need more clarification, just jot your questions and drop them at the chat session. At the end of the presentation of the 4 speakers, we are going to get to answer your questions. So right now we are switching to the next speaker, Muller. Is Muller on? Cynthia, is Muller there? I don't seem to see him. Okay, Muller Nando is an entrepreneur, and he was the 2024 Mandela Washington Fellow, placed on leadership in business. For those of you who are into business activities and want to go under that track, Muller is your go-to guy, and he was placed at the University of Nevada in Reno. Muller, welcome on board.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Are you getting me?
You are live,
Yes,
Muller.
Muller.
Muller will be giving you tips on how to tell better business stories. Muller, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you to Lemi. I am so excited to be part of the program, to share what I know, to share what I live there. Then, you all know that the Mandela Washington Fellowship Program is a program designed by the United States government, implemented by the International Exchange Board and 25 US colleges and universities. So the aim of the program is to select 700 young leaders in Africa and to train them in the United States for 6 weeks for those who are doing only a fellowship program, or for 8 weeks for those who are doing the professional development experience. In Cameroon, they selected up to 18 people last year. It's less than 2% of the chance to be selected. That's why we are organizing this session, to help you to have some tips on how to apply to have chance to be selected. So next slide, please. Yeah. Oh, how to write a business success story. The first thing I want to say is to present yourself in an attractive way. So this is to tell you that avoid classical presentation and use attractive word, like, for example, my name is, I'm passionate about digital solution, I'm passionate about agroecology, I'm passionate about chemical engineering, everything that you are doing, but use attractive words so that your story will attract people who are going to select you. And also state your level of understanding of your skill. For example, I'm graduated at, I founded this company, I did this, I did that. Yes. After that, you have to demonstrate the impact that you and your activity have in your community by using some specific data. For example, I started in 2016, 2017, building a platform on digital marketing, on digital technology, all those things. And today I have done this, I have done that. Use specific data and be very honest. Don't use fake data that will going to affect your presentation, because they always checks what you are writing on your application. And then if you have created impact by training other people in your domain, just say that. Just say that. State the number of people you have trained in your domain, how you did that, and the most important thing is how people you train started to use the same skill, the same technology as you to create impact in their community. This is very, very important to say that when you are applying for the business. Then you can present what you are doing specifically. Yes, this is to go into detail of what you are doing, how you are doing it, and how you are passionate about how you are doing it, and how you are transforming your community by doing what you are doing. For example, I can say that I have trained in ecological charcoal more than 4,000 people. In 10 years, I have been doing my business. And there are data online that they can check and see. And don't be afraid to show what you are doing really, to show concrete data. For example, if you have trained 40 people, 40 young people, or 40 women, just say that and make sure that you demonstrate it by sharing data that you have online. Okay, please, can you go to the next slide? I can also say that you have to be very tactical. You have to know that you are talking to a public which is not in Africa but United States of America, because it's the U.S. Department of State which is selecting people that are going to come and study in the United States. So know that they have their own way to analyze things. They have their own way to think about things. So when you show your impact in your community, make sure that you are not talking to Africans. You are talking to people who are overseas, and the only thing that they can do is to check by the link you are going to provide if what you say is really what they see online. So I can advise you to have social media content. You can be on LinkedIn, you can be on Facebook, you can be on X, you can be on Instagram, TikTok, but make sure that everything that you are posting there are related to the activity you are doing, because people always check, and they're going to check and see if what you have written in your application is what really they are seeing online. And I can advise you to not be afraid with the number of application. It's not about your qualification, PhD, master, all those things. Is about the impact you are creating in your community. Don't say that my idea, what I've been doing since 2 years, 3 years is nothing. No, be concentrate, focus on your activity, focus on the point, and know that you can be selected. I know that those who are in business, it is the easy track that I know, because you are focused on the point. You are doing something. You have demonstrated impact in your community is what you are sharing. So, and with a lot of confidence and straight to the point and all those things, I hope that you are going to be the next Mandela Washington Fellowship from Cameroon. Yeah. I want to wish you a very good luck when you apply. And if there is nothing that you think that we can help review, giving insight for your application, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are there for you. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Müller. That was a great input there. And like Müller just indicated, do not minimize any experience that you've gathered along the way. Even if you are just a community-based individual who sees a problem within your community and gather your friends to go find a solution to that problem, that is already a leadership skill that is worth being portrayed. So don't feel that any experience is least. And when they talk about the competitive nature of the fellowship, it's just to let you know that you need to be outstanding in order to catch the eyes of the people who are doing the selection exercise. Imagine a committee sitting to decide on the future of 700 people. They would go to your second sentence if the first one is catchy. So try to make your ACEs what it is. Don't try to lie, because if you lie, they will know, because they will have to do background checks before anyone is picked. Tell your story from your heart. It's what you do daily, so you'll be able to tell it well. What people can do is just to try to correct how well you are telling the story, but the initial idea and the originality of it all comes from you. And do not try to go look at an essay that someone else had written to try to copy and do exactly the same. You would be eliminated. That said, we are moving next to our speaker, Harrison Eufenue. He is a co-founder of All Maritime and Power Plant Services. He is a 2024 Mandela Washington Fellow and was placed at Jackson State University under leadership in business. So we're having a second businessman on this platform. I guess anyone who is intending to go under this track is spoiled this afternoon. Harrison, the floor is yours.
Hi, Manuela. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Fellow leaders, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for taking out your time to come and learn from us. Manuela, that was a wonderful presentation, my dear brother. You said almost everything that I was about to say. And I really think you're right, Emma, that our fellows in business track are spoiled. Yes, we're putting in this effort because we want to change the economy of this country. We want to make sure people have jobs, and we want to create impact. So thank you so much. Please, can I see the first slide? Thank you. So I'm going to be talking about how to make your essay stand out, because remember, one of the things that make you get selected is the impact you are creating. And sometimes when you are creating impact, you might not know how to quantify it or how to show people what you are doing. I used to be one of those guys. People tell me that you're doing amazing things, but I'm like, what am I doing? So it's time, guys. It's not being proud. It's just telling the truth of what you are doing. So first thing you need to do is to tell your story. Tell people what you are passionate about. I know that for us business people, sometimes people feel that what drives us most is the money. But you notice that most of them, or most of us, the drive is not really the money, but it's the impact that you create from the money you make. When you train people, when you recruit them, and all of that. So make sure you have something that is passionate, that you're passionate about. It might not only be business. I want to globalize it here so that other tracks can also benefit from it. If you are passionate about, I will tell an example of a fellow who went last year, and she's a journalist just like Emanuela. And her problem was that she visited Bamenda and noticed that during the COVID period, I noticed that people with less, I would say, who was on the blind people or people who were deaf and dumb were not well treated. And she became passionate about giving them the privileges that normal people have. She was passionate about it. She wrote a good story about that, and that is how she was selected. So please look at something that you are passionate about. What is the change that you are making? Or what is the impact that you are creating besides just making money? Making money is good too, but tell the story behind the money you are making and the impact you are saying. Your own story that you are passionate about. And then for me, when I was writing my essays, I made sure that I knew when to write. There are some people who think better in the morning. There are others who are inspired during the day or in the evening. I just make sure that I know the time when my energy is at its peak, so that I'm sure that I can really concentrate and rephrase the statements well. It's true, people will tell you there is AI now, ChatGPT and all of that. But one thing I can assure you is that if you use all these AI things to write your essays, these guys are going to discover that this is not your English. This is not your story. It is a machine-generated story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will advise you to do it yourself and be real. know when to write it appropriately, and do it when you are most inspired about it. You could say it in a voice, not record it when you are in a taxi or when you are going somewhere. An idea comes in your head. Record it when you are back home. You can type it down, write it. Take all your time. Don't wait till the last minute before you start writing. Then in your essays, try to share the impact that you have created in numbers. Through the recruitment of 5 people in my store that is found in Onanjo, or in the shop that I opened to clean dresses in this place, I have been able to help this girl who maybe was an IDP and came to Douala, and now she can pay her house and send her kids to school. That is an impact you are creating. Write it down, tell the story, and say it in numbers. Last year I trained and recruited 7 people who now work in these locations and are able to provide food for their families. I intend to expand my business to this scale so that I can be able to recruit more people and boost the Cameroon economy. That is a story that you are telling. And I will try recount it in a captivating way. You see, I was saying it and linking it like to somebody that you have recruited and you have created impact in the person's life. Make your story to be captivated. Don't just say, no, I have a shop here, I have a shop this way, I work. No, it won't work like that. Rephrase your statement in such a way that when somebody reads it, you will see an impactful leader who is writing something. Please, can you go to the next slide? Okay, so while doing all these things, make sure that whatever you say is what you have done and that you can prove it. Because if you write a good essay, which is a lie, it might catch the attention of the examiners. But remind you that after you are selected, you go for interviews and more research will be done on you and you have to prove what you said in your essays. They will give you time to talk and defend what you say. So be real when you are writing your essays and do not say what you did not do. Be straight to the point. Make your essays in paragraph. Each paragraph will highlight something that you have done. When you finish, you explain, you go to the next paragraph, you will highlight what you have done. I think there are about 5 essays that you have to write. I think 3 are 250 words and 2 are 150 or something. I cannot remember. For those of you who are applying, you will see it. Just make sure that each paragraph of your essay has something to say. Don't keep on recounting the same thing. Each paragraph will have something to say and be real. Do not use someone else's work. I always tell people this because I know people who sometimes say, okay, I know this program that's going on. You're already above the age limit. Please, can I use your work to go and do it? It's difficult for you to use that lane and go through because it's not your story and it's not real. And it will not really help you if you do that. So use your work, write your essays yourself, get someone to read it for you. Then I think we have 2 weeks to go where the applications will be ending in 2 weeks' time. So for those of you who have not yet started writing your essays and answering the questions, I would advise you that you start now. Write your essays, draft them, read them many times, you read them again, get summary for you, so that by the time you are submitting, you know that you have really shaped the ideas properly and that it is the best you could write. Now, I'll go ahead to talk about the questions in the essay.
3 more minutes to go, Harrison.
Thank you, Emma. For you to be able to answer the question well in the essays, make sure you read the question and understand it. Because sometimes you might think that you have understood the question, but it's that one last part which you did not understand well, and you go ahead writing a good essay that does not reply the question or that don't answer the question that was written. Then finally, I will say that if you can, please have someone read what you have written. I know that there are a lot of you, and I am sure that all of us, the amazing fellows from last year, are willing to help. Our schedules are very tight, but we can try. So I will say, if you can, and if you are lucky enough, get an alumni or one of us to read your essay for you. There are a lot of you, I'm not sure will be able to read all the essays and help you, but I know that our leaders will do their best. So having someone read your essay, if possible, an alumni, somebody who has passed it, read your essay so that he can give you the experience he has had, and that will also help you to stand out. So thank you very much, Madam Moderator. Thank you all for listening, and I wish you all the best. Wish you all the best. And before I end, I would like to say that last year there were 18 of us. The previous year there were 17 because it was really competitive. And I heard when they were making the last decisions, they could not leave out one person. They had to put an additional person. So I want you guys to do the same. And we hope that next year we will have many more people leaving Cameroon to the US. So thank you so much.
A very nice point to finish on there, Harrison. Thank you so much for this very amazing presentation. Like Harrison said, I would not contradict. He says, if you have the chance to have someone read your work, let the person do. I'd rather say you should have someone read your essays, because you might think you have written the best English you have within you, but it's not just about the English, it's also about packaging the English. And I'll advise that, please, when you want to write, be very concise. You see, you have word limits, 250 words, 150 words. Be very precise, concise, and straight to the point. Stop starting your sentences with boring words. Don't start with being a student of this place, they say, I don't know, but start using some words, stop using some words that turn off people, like be captivating in what you say. For example, if you are into civic engagement, if you are into looking out for people, I don't know, maybe there is a water problem in your community and you have teamed up with some of your mates or your community inhabitants to solve that problem, or maybe there are, I should say, gutters that have been blocked by water or refuse, and you've teamed up with people to, if you want to present that experience, go straight to the point. Say, for the past years, I've engaged in community activities like getting refuse off water passageways, and because of this, we've prevented flooding from neighborhood harbors. I don't know, 200 people. Try to show the impact of your work. It's not only about writing beautiful essays, it's about showing how what you've been doing has changed the lives of people, how it has bettered the life of the people that you serve. That is the most important things about your essays. They can be well written in good grammar, but if the impact is not really outstanding, they might have a problem picking you. We are moving to our next speaker, the Iron Lady. Her name is Felicia Lauren. Felicia is one outstanding young lady who has understood the importance of people accepting themselves as they are. And whether you are born with a disability or you incur the disability along your growth path, she's one of those people who encourage and advocate for you to accept yourself like you are and know that you're not less of a human than others. Felicia was a 2024 fellow and was placed at the Rutgers University under the track civil engage, public under leadership in public administration. Felicia, Iron Lady, you have the floor. Felicia?
Maybe Felicia should activate her microphone.
You should unmute yourself, Felicia. Your microphone is mute. Unmute yourself. Cynthia, maybe you help Felicia with her mic.
Maybe she has a network issue. Can you see her online?
Okay, Felicia is having issues with her network. Before she comes on board, I'd like to share my experience while waiting for Felicia to come on board. The other speakers have really been elaborate on how you can make your essay stand out. If I was to chip in something, being a journalist, I told my story from the point of view of the work that I'm passionate about, and that's reporting on climate change. But then what about climate change? There are so many people who are writing about climate change, but what about climate change is what makes the difference. So I pitched my story from the angle of how women who are already in a displaced or in a vulnerable situation like refugees and IDPs are able to overlook their current situation, which is displacement, to fight for the environment that is hosting them. How exactly did I present this story? I reported about women in the far north region of Cameroon that were adopting a method of cultivating vegetables. If you all are from Cameroon attending this session, you would know that the far north of Cameroon is desertic in nature, and there is the dry seasons are very prolonged. And so during those periods, water scarcity is very common. So what did these women do? They resolved to cultivating vegetables in small plastics and small buckets, which require less water for watering. And during the long periods of the dry season, they were able to feed their families through those vegetables. So how did I tell that story? I picked it from the angle of people who are already displaced by the fact that they are not in their homes, but who are still concerned about where they are being lodged. Because if you would bear with me, climate change is affecting everyone, whether you're a refugee or a displaced person. Wherever you find yourself, the heat doesn't spare you. So the women so I picked it now from that angle of giving a voice to people who already feel displaced and who think that it's maybe life is difficult. It's difficult to live because of the fact that they're displaced, but they're still worried about the environment. You see how you can see, so it looks like a simple story, but the way you tell it and how it impacted the lives, because the women cultivate the vegetables, it doesn't just feed them, it equally feeds their family. And when you know a woman in the far north, it means she has so many people who rely on her. So you try to portray that impact in your story. Tell the story that that is relative to you. If you want to lie about something, you might not be able to lie well. Is Felicia on?
Yes, I am.
Okay, everyone join Meet Felicia. She is a 2024 fellow. She was having issues with her network when I introduced her. She's one who believes that disability is not inability. And she believes that no matter however you are, you should embrace yourself the way you are. She was placed at the Rutgers University. Felicia will be sharing tips on how you can stand out in your essays in public management. Finally, Felicia, go ahead.
Oh, no, I will talk about how to share your story.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, guys. Sorry, a little bit late because of my network. A little disclaimer. I'm not an English speaker, so forgive me for what will happen next. Okay.
Your English
is so good, my dear. Your English is perfect.
First of all, Felicia I am the youngest Mandela Washington Fellowship in Cameroon. Like, I wasn't supposed to be there. Because when I was applying, I was 21. And during the fellowship, I was 22. And sometimes, you just feel like, oh, this is not for me. This is for, great people. I'm not great enough to be there. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something. I was in the leadership and business track, but I had this particular thing that I'm a content creator and an athlete. So how am I making money with all of this? it's about my story. So I think I can help you about that. First of all, don't lie. Don't lie. Tell you the truth, because they will go, they will call, I don't know how they will do, but they will know. So first of all, tell the truth. Let's go. And, I think that everybody can be a medical doctor. Everybody can be a lawyer with a good training and with good training, But what make you be the best lawyer? What make you the best in your field? Sometimes it's just a little things. I have an example. In the 2024 Cameroonian court, we had a lot of medical doctor, but I can remember a specific things about every single medical doctors. We have this one who is for woman empowerment and can I speak in French?
Felicia, your English is okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So what are you doing that make you be original? If you're a medical doctor and last year you saved a little girl who just had an amputation, you saved her life, talk about it because it's important. Being specific in your story, like if you're a mechanic engineer and you worked on a specific project, talk about the project. If you had something like, oh, I just won an oratory contest, talk about it because it's a great skills that you have. And for my French speaker,
yes,
don't use translator. Write your essay. And
did we just lose Felicia?
Yeah, I think she went offline again.
Oh,
I guess she was trying to tell the French speakers that they should not use translator.
Yeah, she was trying to tell the French speakers not to write in French as in use translation to translate in English. Write in English and get someone read through. I think that's the point Felicia was trying to put across. You need to be coherent in your essay. Felicia too was trying to indicate that. You need to be coherent. If you start your first essay with a story, make sure that that story runs through to the end. Don't bring a first story on the first essay, bring a second story on the second essay, bring a third. You would confuse the readers. Be coherent. Use examples that are already known, like use those real life examples that you have lived. And please don't try to lie. Is Felicia back? Cynthia?
Madam Moderator, I propose we should jump into question and answers while waiting for Felicia.
All right. So we would start answering your questions. I'm seeing a couple of them. I think so.
I think there was somebody who made a comment in the message section that she would like one of us to share his or her story on how he or she wrote the essay. I don't know whether.
Let's go chronologically. I'm seeing a question here which asks, in each, it's coming from Elundu. He asked if in each of the questions he has to start by presenting himself. The answer is outright no. You're not even. Is there any essay where you even present yourself, speakers? You talk about your work, right?
Yeah, But there is a way that in answering the first question, you can technically talk about yourself. That the question on what motivates you to do the work
Yes.
that you do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you grasp that question well, in answering your motivation and the work you do, you talk about yourself without making an introduction about yourself. You have 5 masters, you have no.
You're a mother of 6. It's not relevant. So
You
Meve is
got
still
married last
asking
year.
if it is relevant to apply if you only have a corporate experience. Of course, how impactful is that corporate experience to the lives of people? Meve, it's very possible. You just need to show how that work you do impacts the lives of people. And see, Felicia is back. Felicia, will come back to you in case you have to conclude.
Yes, I want to conclude, please.
Go ahead.
Okay. And the last but not the least, guys, if you belong to a discriminating community or people, talk about it, because this program is so competitive that you have to use everything you can. For me, as a challenge body people, I use this in my essay. I think the thing they will remember about me is that I have a disability. Use this. So that was all for me.
Okay, so Felicia, thank you so much. We'll continue with the questions. Harrison, we're on the question you were talking about. It's coming from Gaitan. Gaitan wants to know, he says he thinks we should share some facts like examples from our own application in order for them to better put up their stories. I'm throwing it to the floor. Any speaker wants to share at least
Okay,
Felicia
let me
just
share
shared
my
a tip
story.
there about her own. Yeah.
Let me share my story. And like I said in my comment section, there's a problem with sharing your story because everyone is going to copy it. You would not be original. And there are things that you just need to think, like just think your surrounding circumstances. What is my story? I grew up listening to my grandmother's story that much hadn't changed around me. My grandmother said she had no knowledge of sexual education. She was in a stream swimming when her period came, and she remained in what I'm going very, very fast. She remained in the water for over 24 hours. She thought it was a wound. She kept washing herself off, washing herself off, washing herself off. It would not stop flowing. Her mom had to come look for her with a lamp, like, where has this child gone to? Everyone who went with her has come back. Why not you? When my grandmother told me that story, I looked around me. I can't say I'm privileged, but every time I went to the village for third term holidays, I had my friends using mud as pad, using old clothes to pad themselves, cutting mattresses to pad themselves. Then my grandmother's story resonated in my head. How many people in your immediate community understand their bodies? How many of them know menstrual hygiene management? Everywhere I go, I have this conversation shamelessly, no matter how it sounds, no matter if you listening to me, my audience, gets uncomfortable. I say things as they are. Women, we need to understand our bodies. We need menstrual hygiene management. We need sexual education as early as possible for us
So
to
that's how you
grow
pitch your
with it.
story?
That's one. That's my story. Now, what do I do? That story has been eating me up since I was small up to now. I've volunteered in several NGOs that have the same focus: gender, human empowerment, menstrual hygiene management. I learned from them and created mine. That's what I do within my NGO space. That's what I do with my team, within my NGO space. Another one is culture. Let's just flash back. What does our culture say about women? Do we come from areas that our culture target the female gender? I mean, can we talk about education? How many of our grandparents, how many of our grandmothers are educated? If you come from a community
well,
where women go and marry and then the men go to school, it's not balanced. So you make it your own mandate. You go to school and you give back to that community.
Let me permit me jump in on that one. I think the questions are so many, Prezi. If we get going so deep, we will not be able to go through the questions. Let's just go briefly and share our stories briefly so we could get all these questions. Merve is asking again if we can use AI tools to arrange your story. Merve, you use AI, they will use AI to detect that you used AI and you'll be in trouble. Please just avoid AI. And then we go further. Somebody is asking. Harrison, are you seeing any question I'm not seeing?
Yes, there are several questions.
Someone is asking how he can contact us.
Can someone raise a hand and maybe talk?
There are questions on the comment section that we haven't even answered. How
Yes,
can
I was
you
just saying, while
contact
looking at the questions, is there someone who would like to say something?
Yeah, sure. I want to ask a question.
Cynthia, maybe you put the slide
go ahead,
on.
Please.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so my name is Favor, and I saw this advert from Facebook, and one of my friends, so I had to share it to my friends and also attend. Thank you. So
which country, please?
On the chat box, I want to comment first of all, every organizer, you guys are doing a great job. Thank you so much. So the question is, it's actually one question. I just put it on the chat box. And nobody's talking about the J1 visa rule, but I can tell you many people oftentimes are kind of already in their path to say they want to be interested in studying and things like that. So how does the Mandela Washington program itself affect people on that path? That's the first question. Then secondly, the thing about traveling to the US, it's unique. But what if aside that experience and maybe the training they're going to offer at the conference, what does the MWF offer to people beyond the conference? Beyond the conference, what does it offer to people beyond the conference itself? The experience.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. We got your question. I think that's going too far. We are talking about how to write the application, how to stand out in order to be picked, first of all, before you can proceed to knowing about the J1 visa and all of that. I think that should be the concern of people who have already been selected for the fellowship. Our aim here is actually to give you tips on how to stand out so as to be picked, notwithstanding. Lemmy, you want to say something?
Very brief, 1 minute. I didn't get your name, excuse me, so I'll just go straight to the question. First of all, Madam Moderator, I think we lose sight on it. No, we didn't lose sight on it. That was the first part. That was addressed in the part 1 of our session last week. Let me just reiterate. First of all, that is an eligibility criteria. Be eligible for J1 visa. For example, if you're already in the process of relocating, say your fiance is there and you're already starting procedure, you cannot apply for MWF. The eligibility, they're all there on the website. And the J1 and say this is not the route for you to use to relocate permanently or things, it will not work. And with the J1 visa, we have a lot of restrictions. When we come back, as we are all called to come back, as we have all come back, when you come back, you can't play the lottery, you can't move by marriage or fiancé till after 2 years. But you can go back for your studies or for visits.
Tourism
and visiting. What does that tell you? That if you're already in a process of adoption, that your mother is in the US or a parent and they filed for you some 10 years back and you are in the pipeline, you can't apply for MWF because you are not eligible for the J1 visa. Any process that will enable you immigrate legally, you are not eligible to apply for the MWF. because everything is in the system, and they will say that you already have a pending procedure, and it's going to be interpreted that you are using this just to go faster and you will not come back again.
Yes.
So that's what I can say about that.
All right, Harrison, he spoke about aside the fellowship, the training, and all of that, other benefits. Would you want to jump in?
The
Felicia?
The Mandela Washington Fellowship Program really opens, sorry?
Go ahead.
Emma, did you say something? Okay, I was saying
Go
that
ahead, please.
the fellowship program actually opens a lot of doors for you people. It opens a lot of doors that you will not imagine, because this is a program, it's first of all very prestigious, and then it opens the windows to other benefits like more fellowship programs, trainings, beside the fact that while you are there, you are impacted. Guys, the 6 weeks program is very hectic, it's very intense. It teaches you a lot, it changes you in such a way that once you come back here, you'll be seeing a lot of opportunities around you that you can use. Apart from that, there is the professional development experience program, which is after the 6 weeks. Some people who are lucky get selected immediately and they have to spend 4 more weeks in America. But if you are not selected, you can apply for that. You can apply for grants. There are a lot of grants. Like I'll tell you guys, since we came back, there have been opportunities knocking at the doors just because we are now the fellows, the Mandela Washington Fellows. So there are many advantages that follow you or that are on your way once you come back.
Once you complete and come back to Cameroon, of course, come back to your country and impact. Thank you, Harrison. There is someone asking if you can be a civil servant and be selected in the business track. Of course, it depends on the story you are telling. You're a civil servant in what domain? What do you do? If your activity is business related, of course, you can. The other question is, what if you have only volunteer experience and not professional experience? What do you call volunteer experience and not professional experience? Volunteer experience is professional experience. When you're giving your services to doing something, especially if you're solving a societal problem, it is very important. Volunteer experience alone is, Lemi, you want to say something?
I want to add on to what you're saying, Madam Moderator, respectfully, that you can play. I clearly understand what the person is asking, because being in a space like Yaoundé, and then you're going to apply for internship, some structures make some structures lay a clear dichotomy between stage academic and stage professionnel. You see, there's a difference between professional placements and volunteerism as it is. First of all, no matter the track you're applying for, volunteerism is a plus. And if you read the website, they tell you outrightly, if you have any volunteerism experience, talk about it. It's a plus.
Yeah, it is.
Because this leadership, this MWF is all about service leadership. It's all about you being community-oriented, community service, what you do to give back to your community. So you talk about it. You say it is a plus. Build on it. Build on your volunteerism, actually. Then I would say that if you don't have, in quotes, a professional experience, which technically both could be the same, if you don't have a professional experience, you could pick out one outstanding volunteerism experience.
And then, pitch on it.
Yeah, and pitch on it as a professional experience.
Thank you. Thank you, Percy. Let's go further. I'm having problems scrolling the messages. Maybe you anyone read the messages that you see?
Raise the hand. Somebody raise a hand.
No, let's concentrate on, I can't see. Okay. Joycelyn, go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, and I wish to appreciate this wonderful session. Please, I'll go straight away to the point. I wish to say that most of the times at this point, we always organize these programs to maybe teach us how we can go about writing. But at the point where we really need that mentorship to know, maybe to review our essays, most, let me say, people are not always there to review. So I don't know, is there any strategy that you have used maybe for the upcoming reviews for the essays? Thank you.
We have put out, if you can see the slide on your screen right now, it has the contact information of some of us, the speakers of today. We are 18 in number. So this is just the people who are part of this session. There was a session last week. We are 18 in number. That's just for 2024. There are still people who we were unfortunately unable to have. Dr. Lilian, she is a 2016 alumni of the fellowship. She was supposed to be with us here, but she had an emergency and could not. There are many other alumni that are present that you could try and reach out to them, because imagine that 3,000 of you are applying from Cameroon. It will be overwhelming for 18, just 18 of us to be able to go through. So what we are doing is we are here trying to give you those tips to write, and then trying to make you understand equally that there are some other alumni that might be ready to read the essays. We here would be ready to read them. But if they are too overwhelming, you understand what I mean. It might not be possible for us to go through every person's essay, because we equally have work that we do on a daily basis, but we'll do our best to avail ourselves to reading and pointing out the errors where necessary. Anyone wants to chip in on that question, or we move ahead?
We move ahead.
Read the question. I can't see some of the questions.
Okay,
please.
Madam Moderator, respectfully, let me read some of the questions. I'm starting from the, okay, let me try to start from the top, actually, if any has not been answered, because there are quite a number. Gaetan, we're free to answer this one from Gaetan about sharing our stories. Okay, what if we use AI? That one has been answered. Please, good evening. This from Muriel Nyambo. Good evening. Thank you immensely to all. We've answered this.
We have, I think so.
Okay, then let me go to the next. Hello, everyone. This is from Thierry Kofana. Hello, everyone. Can I apply? Maybe my project is an idea. I want to launch it on November.
That's not clear. Is it that I don't understand?
I think he's saying that he's asking if he can apply if all he has is a project idea and he intends to launch the project in November.
The project, it means he's not been working on something, like
No
he doesn't,
idea.
I don't understand.
No idea.
So unfortunately, your question is not clear. We go further.
I anticipated Jamal Mukhtar. I anticipated to find a fellow who comes from humanitarian NGO background. I don't know what that means.
I think it's civic engagement.
Okay. Please, you said that if we start with a story, we should finish with the same story. But how to talk about all your experiences if you can just narrate one story? But the moderator, this is misquoting you.
He is misquoting me. When I talk about coherence in your essays, please do not misunderstand what I said. When I say talk about coherence, I mean, if you are talking about, let me take my example. I spoke about climate change, those solutions that are derived by the communities to counter climate change within their communities. I will not go further and start talking about women who are not using pad, or who are having problems with menstrual, or how to manage their menstrual hygiene in question 2, or in question 3 or so. What I mean when I talk about coherence is when you've started with a main idea, that should be the idea that should run throughout your essays. I hope that's clear, please. I'm seeing another person here is asking if the essay can be written as in the application system or written outside on Microsoft Word before later uploading. This is very salient question. I think you need to write it in Microsoft Word so that you can have someone read through, make the corrections before you copy and paste. In fact, that's what I did. That's what I did when I was applying for my own fellowship. Praisy, any other question you're seeing?
Yeah, there is the same person, Muriel Nyambo. What is expected when we see the question on how we intend to implement the skills learned from MWF in our home country? How can we answer that? First of all, there's no question like that. You've misquoted that question. Then let me go on. You say, Angela Ade, please, I'm yet to see where we include our social media links. Any specificity?
Social media link?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
I think
included several.
There's an area, not in the ACEs.
Not in the ACEs. I don't know if it's in the eligibility where you give the resume. Is it there?
It's filling the form. It's in one part of the form.
Yeah, it is there, my dear.
I think it's towards the last. I think it's towards the end. If you just keep on filling, you will find out as you keep on filling and going, there will be a stage where they will ask you. I think it's towards the end, if I'm not mistaken.
Meve is asking, what if she doesn't have volunteer experience? If you don't have any experience of volunteerism and you have professional experience, is good.
Exactly.
The thing is, you need to have been doing some work. It's not, you not come and, you need to have been doing something.
However you call it.
However small, you need to have been doing something. If you've not been doing something, it will be difficult for you to prove because you're writing about your work, what you've been doing.
Can I read the next question, please?
Yes, please go ahead.
Question from Mr. Sama Bini. Can the selection process be compromised by a political change in leadership in the US?
I think it started with a Democrat, and then a Republican came and ruled, and a Democrat came again, and the program is still running.
Going on.
Yes, it's difficult to say what the US Department of State will say in the future, but it has lasted 10 years and nothing has happened to it.
Okay.
10 years and counting.
Belak Joycelyn Jindui. I just wish to know how this session will be made sustainable.
What does that mean?
Maybe if you're asking for the recording.
Yes, if I try to understand, there is a YouTube, it's streaming live now on YouTube. And I don't know if this is being recorded, but we will try to see how to maybe get the links to you people so that you can listen to it again later on.
I think recorded.
It will be sent at the end of the session for those who registered. For those who registered at the end of the session, there will be a follow-up email with a link to the YouTube channel.
Yes. Okay.
I think I finished the questions. Except somebody wants to ask this question live.
Maybe the person who spoke about the idea, the question of his project is still an idea. If he can raise his hand and clarify, we didn't answer that question because we didn't understand. We didn't understand what it was all about. If not, I think we have exhausted the questions. Anyone raising the hand at all?
How do I see that? I can't see the screen. Or maybe if you raise your hand, just unmute yourself and talk.
There is a Merve that just asked something again. If I have been working in an association in the company where I am employed, can I be considered as a volunteer? What? Working in an association in the company? What is she saying?
I have been working in an association.
In the company. Maybe you just raise your hand and ask your question. We cannot understand exactly what you want to ask.
Yeah, yes, unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself and speak.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes. I was thinking here in my company where I'm employed, right? There is an association. I founded a corporate sport association, but there is no added money for that. I was asking if it can be considered as volunteering.
What do you do?
I'm the president of the sport association. So
No, I don't. No, not that. Not that. What you do in your company may be what you should use to apply. Like, what do you do in that company? Leave the association as.
Yes, it is the social part of the company.
And what do you do when you head a sports committee where you do what?
We organize sessions of sports in the company where we do fitness twice a week to help colleagues to be in a better shape.
Is it only your colleagues or is open to the public?
Only my colleagues. Only the colleagues.
Something is happening. So a lot of noises.
Please, can you mute yourselves back?
Is it for the colleagues alone or it's open to the public, Merveille? I think it's an internal something. Can that be considered a volunteering experience, Prezi?
Yeah, I think that is a plus. I think that is a plus actually. And Merveille, I'm so sorry. I'm going to put you on the spot because do we now see how difficult this process is? Because when Madame the moderator asked, what do you do? Her answer was, I am the president of. No, it's not the titles that you wear.
Exactly.
It's not the titles that you wear. It is the work that you do, the impact that you're creating. It is the problems that you have identified and that you try to solve. That is what you do. You are a leader. You are solving problems. And how you go about solving those problems should lead you to achieving your goals that sets you to do what you do in the first place.
Yes, President, we're going to yes, conclude, please, conclude.
Like there must be a chronology. I've lost my thoughts. I'm sorry. There must be.
So sorry for that.
Guys, tell your story. Tell your story. What is my story? What problem have you identified? How are you trying to solve it? What impact are you doing in solving it? What problems are you facing solving it? How do you attempt to resolve the problems? What lessons? What numbers? What impacts? It is okay to say I attempted to solve a problem and I failed. It is okay. You've learned from your failure, and how differently will you do things next time? Just be smart.
Okay. That's
situation is situation, task, action, results.
That's it. President, thank you for that input. I think there are a few other questions. I'm seeing a Clinton. Clinton, you have a question. Please just go straight to your question. We're running out of time. Clinton, unmute yourself and speak, please. In the absence of Clinton, Frank, I'm seeing a Frank who is raising his hand too. Frank, unmute yourself and go straight to your question, please.
Yes, thank you very much and for the session. I just want to know, for students who are still, we don't yet have a degree, but we have been working in volunteering roles, leadership roles, are we also considered for the application, or maybe we must be graduate already?
Okay, that is a good question. It's about the work you've been doing. It's not about the certificates you've been able to amass. Am I on the right track, Prezi? Harrison?
Sure you are.
So it's about the work you've been doing, Frank. How is it impacting people? How is it changing the lives of people within your community? It could be your village. It could be that you noticed something was not going right and you picked your friends and you people started solving that. That's already a leadership skill you're exhibiting. So it's not about you being a graduate or not. If you think you have that compelling story to tell, and you think that the world should hear about what you've been doing, jump on board.
Okay, please, ma'am, I'm here.
Who is that, please?
Clinton, yes.
Yes, ask
Yes,
your
All right, please, I want to ask here because I have two sides because I'm a manager in a business where I'm carrying out a series program where I'm mostly focused in working with startups. That means sharing the stories of startups to also get to encourage other startups in business. Yeah,
Yes.
and also I also have an NGO where we have been doing some work on environmental preservation, that is climate change. So
Yes.
I'm a little bit. So what advice can you give me? Which essay part should I focus on? The side of leadership in business or civic engagement? Because all the two, I have a little bit
Yes,
of.
no, I get your point. Thank you. Thank you for the question. We're really running out of time. So we'll know. I understand your question. You have two ideas. I'll tell you, go for the one that speaks more to you. Which one are you passionate about? Which one have you created more impact? Okay. Unmute yourself, Clinton, please. You don't need to answer. Which one have you created impact most? Which one do you feel passionate doing? What do you, among the two, which do you think is changing the narrative of people? Then you go for that one. We are going to get another. Crazy, you see some questions?
Yeah, Mevey has restructured herself. And before I answer Mevey, please, 2025 MWF aspirants, don't sell yourselves short. You might just have 1 minute to pitch something that could be your plus. You can just say one statement that would give you an added urge over somebody. Mevey, I read your comment that you realized that your colleagues were not in good shape, and then that's good. You can actually pitch your idea. You can actually pitch your association's idea as your plus, the problem that you've identified and how you try to solve it. You're creating a platform where your colleagues can decompress, where your colleagues can be in good health and maintain the rhythm to be more active in work. And you can give how the situation was. What was this situation? And now your action of sports. Now, what has changed?
Exactly.
What has changed?
That's the impact we're talking about there.
Simple. Just build your story and say it beautifully, Mevey. You have a good story. Please go in for it. Structure it well, and good luck.
Thank you, Prezi. We have another question from Muriel. What is expected when we see the question and how we intend to implement the skills learned from Mandela Washington back home? You would need, if you're doing something and you're doing some work before you're trying to get exposure on how to better do that work. So what they're simply asking you is, with the little knowledge you've been using to do what you've been doing, how do you count on using that much knowledge you gain from the Mandela Fellowship to further this work you have been doing? So that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be showing how, whether it could be that you've been working as a single individual now, and when you gain experience and connect with other people, you would want to tap into those people's experience and see how to network maybe to further what you are doing. Are the questions?
Next question. Okay. Yeah. Gaitang Cham, excuse me if I don't pronounce your name well. Imagine a person who is working as IT engineer since 10 years, doing social activities since many years.
Surely donations to orphanages.
Could he apply?
Yeah. Yes, of course. You can apply.
That's your plus. You have a good profile. That's your plus.
Exactly. And you should pitch your story from the over caricative that you've been doing.
Exactly.
Pitch your story from the humanitarian point of view. How has those donations you've been doing to orphanages been changing the lives of those destitute children? That's a good one there, Gaita.
Gaita, if you listen to the profile of Dr. Cynthia, he is a medical doctor, but he also, he's into IT, big time.
Yes, community, for example, helping people in your village a new way to. There's another
Somebody's
question.
asking, Kumu Walters, please, how does the English language requirement work for the program?
It's compulsory.
It's
That's how
compulsory,
it
but
works.
it doesn't mean you to have an out result, please.
You don't need an A
Doesn't
grade.
need
That's
you,
what he's saying.
yeah, just you to need to express yourself. Like you wrote, if you had written in Portuguese or in Spanish, I would not have been able to read it. You wrote in English.
And
It's
she read and understood.
basic English. You read and
Basic
understood.
English.
That's basic English.
That's it.
No, trust me, no one is going to correct any of your English errors, because I mean,
no one
really cares.
The essence will be to communicate and people get what you're trying to portray. That's all.
That's it.
There's Bill who is asking if you're helping the community, for example, or helping people in your village on new ways to farm efficiently, apart from I'm losing that question. Can you see Bill's question, Prezi?
Yeah, Bill Aga, if you are helping a community, for example, helping people in your village on new way to farm efficiently, apart from your story, how do you prove it? Just first say it. Say it in a compelling way, and it should be true that if it had to be checked, it will exist. And then there are several places where they ask for your handles. You can share your handles in which you have been sharing your story or sharing your daily activism.
It could have been on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, wherever you've been sharing what you've been doing. That's the way they can prove it. Go ahead. We have a fellow who is into agriculture. There are many people who are doing lots of beautiful things in agriculture, and I think you have a good story there. Tell the story,
Bill Aga.
Bill, tell the story. Can you?
Bill Aga, if I am just a seller on streets, can I consider as a professional experience? Yes, you can, and you should apply. But
how
then,
is your selling?
How does you selling on the streets?
Exactly. How is it changing lives? How is it impacting? It's all about showing
what problem are you solving selling on the streets.
Exactly. What problem is it solving? The questions over. I think that's it.
Mevei Menongo Elundu, resume section. I've applied last year, but I did not see where to add links or pictures. And we are saying that there is a place where you put your social media handles. Mevei, I cannot situate you exactly, I'm sorry, but there is a place where you put your social media handles. Remember in the session of last week, we spoke about social media presence, and my other fellow said it wasn't a must, but again, it could be a plus. It is a plus. And we even advised that you should be careful what you post, and there is no harm in you going to clear your social media space. We shouldn't be seeing champagne, NSC, smoking, bowling club, all those kind of things. I mean, or we shouldn't be seeing you insulting everyone and being so mean.
Let's take this question from Waters, Prezi. Waters is asking what if you don't have an organization, but then you are helping various organizations in your community achieve their missions? How do you put this in your ACEs? Same as you have just said. Just show us how you've been helping them. What do you do for them? How does it change what they've been doing before you came in? Show how you've been helping them. Maybe you've been helping them build websites for them that's giving them visibility. I don't know. Show us what that has done and how it has bettered their functioning after you came in. I think that those are the questions we...
Exactly. And don't make it about the organizations that you work for. Make it about what you
yourself,
do.
Your work you're doing for them. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we are done. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this session. Thank you for your questions, and we hope that we've been of help to you. We hope we've been able to give you tips on how to go ahead with your ACEs. If you believe in what you do, please go ahead and write it as best as you can. This opportunity is not for anyone with two heads. It's for anyone who wants to make his story heard. So go ahead, tell your story, and you might just be the next Mandela Washington Fellow 2025. We wish you all the luck on behalf of all my team, Cynthia, who is at the background, Lemmy, and every other person who spoke today, Harrison, Iron Lady, everyone. We want to thank you so much.
Please, Emanuela.
Yes, please.
I think let's reiterate the
yes,
rendezvous on the 5th of September in Yaoundé.
Okay, good.
Yes, go ahead.
So for all of you who
I was
are
talking
present
about
in
the
Yaoundé,
5th. Okay, good.
So for all of us here who would be, please spread the word, even to your networks, to your siblings, to your workplace. Those of us who are connected here and live in Yaoundé or who can make it to Yaoundé, we give you a rendezvous on the 5th of September at the Etokebe Handicap Center, where we would have a cleanup campaign, a community service together, and we'll have an orientation session. And if you intend to apply, you can come along with your printed essays. If you are lucky, you could be select your like we could pick you to read over your essays
yes,
and then give you live personal tips.
Yes.
So
the date
5th of
is
September,
the 5th,
Yaoundé.
5th of September, Yaoundé Handicap
From
Center,
1 p.m. to
known
5
as
p.m.
Sound. What's the time again, Tracy?
From 1 p.m. to 5 p.m.
1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Please spread the news to whoever you think needs it. And thank you again for hanging out with us. We wish you all the best. See you.
Bye-bye. Madam Moderator, our contacts are here just in case.
Yes, our contacts are here. You can get them and get to us individually. Please write during reasonable hours.
Exactly,
Mr.
please.
Contact is not here.
Mr. Cynthia's contact was shared last week.
He was part of the session last week, but you can check him on social media.
But just get to any of us, we'll give you.
If you get to us, we'll give you his contacts. Please write during reasonable hours and be straight to the point. Don't come and start saying things that are.
Be professional. Don't hide me. Don't hide. I will not answer hide or hello.
If you hide me, I will not answer. Thank you.